Hello. Welcome back. Can you believe it's already January 2024 already? Wasn't it just 2023? 2022? 2021? 2020. I think we've all decided to forget that 2020 ever happened, so let's just skip that and ask, remember the year 2019? The point is time flies and life is short. But it seems so much longer when you have to use the bathroom to relieve yourself. And that's exactly what the tea I created on my apparel site, justtextclothing.com says. Now if you've been consuming my past episodes, then you know that this is when I introduce you to 4 or 5 stories that are inspired by the quote of the tea that the episode is inspired by. And that was the plan for this episode, but 2 things prevented that. 1. The story the AI came up for me, with assistance from yours truly, is truly a compelling story as you'll see in a few. And 2. Apparently asking the AI to write some stories about being in a rush to use the bathroom is something it's not allowed to do was not on my bingo card in 2024. So for this episode, there's only going to be one story. As the thumbnail to this episode suggested, if you were on a date with someone you liked, but they had to excuse themselves to the restroom, but then they told you the reason they had to use the restroom, how would you feel about that person you're on that date with? Well, that's the plot for the upcoming A Date with Disaster story. So now with this long-ass intro out the way, let's get to the story.
Lily was nervous as she walked into the Italian restaurant. She had been chatting with Jake online for a few weeks, and he seemed like a nice guy. He was smart, funny, and handsome, according to his profile picture. He had asked her out for dinner, and she had agreed, hoping to find a connection. She spotted him at a table near the window. He waved at her and smiled. He looked even better in person, with his dark hair and blue eyes. She felt a surge of excitement as she approached him.
Hi, Jake. I'm Lily. It's nice to meet you,
she said, extending her hand.
Hi, Lily. You look beautiful. I'm glad you could make it,
he said, taking her hand and kissing it gently. She blushed and sat down across from him. He had already ordered a bottle of wine and 2 glasses. He poured her a drink and toasted to their date. They started to chat and get to know each other better. They had a lot in common, such as their love for books, movies, and music. They also shared some funny stories about their hobbies and interests. Lily felt a spark between them. She liked his voice, his laugh, and his sense of humor. He was attentive and charming, and he made her feel comfortable. She was having a great time, until she felt a sudden pain in her stomach. She realized that she had forgotten to take her medication for her irritable bowel syndrome. She had been so busy getting ready for the date that she had skipped her usual routine. She hoped that it was nothing serious, and that it would pass soon. She tried to ignore it and focus on the conversation, but the pain got worse. She felt a wave of nausea and cramps. She also felt the urge to use the bathroom, urgently. She excused herself and got up, hoping to find a restroom nearby. She walked to the back of the restaurant, where she saw a sign that said, restrooms. She followed it and found a door that said, ladies. She opened it and entered, only to see a long line of women waiting for their turn. She groaned and joined the queue, hoping that it would move fast. She waited patiently, but the line barely moved. She looked at her phone and saw that she had been gone for 10 minutes. She wondered what Jake was thinking. She hoped that he wouldn't think that she was rude or weird. She decided to text him and let him know that she was okay. She typed,
Hey, sorry for the delay. I have a bad case of diarrhea. Be back soon.
She hit send and put her phone back in her purse. She felt a bit better after letting him know. She thought that he would understand and appreciate her honesty. She was wrong. She heard a loud beep from her phone. She took it out and looked at the screen. She saw that she had sent the message to the wrong person. She had sent it to Jake, instead of her best friend, Amy. She gasped and felt a surge of panic. She had just told her date that she had diarrhea. She couldn't believe her mistake. She felt mortified and humiliated. She wanted to crawl into a hole and die. She quickly typed,
OMG, I'm so sorry. That was meant for my friend. Please ignore it.
She hit send and hoped that he would forgive her. She waited for his reply, but there was none. She felt a knot in her stomach. She wondered what he was thinking. She wondered if he was still there, or if he had left. She decided to call him and apologize. She dialed his number and waited for him to answer. She heard a ring, and then a voice.
Hello, this is Jake. I'm sorry, but I can't talk right now. I'm busy. Please leave a message after the beep.
She heard a beep and realized that he had rejected her call. She felt a lump in her throat. She knew that he was angry and disgusted. She knew that he had dumped her. She hung up and felt tears in her eyes. She had ruined everything. She had blown her chance with a great guy. She had made a fool of herself. She wished that she could go back in time and undo her mistake. She wished that she could erase the message and the call. She wished that she could start over and have a normal date. But she couldn't. She was stuck in the bathroom, with a bad case of diarrhea, and a date with disaster. The end.
Okay, normally this is where I normally would wrap this story up, but since this episode is only going to be one story, then I would like to hear Jake's perspective. What was his thoughts?
I was excited for my date with Lily. We had been chatting online for a few weeks, and she seemed really great, smart, funny, and cute based on her photos. I got to the restaurant early and made sure to get a nice table by the window with a view of the city. When Lily walked in, she looked even prettier than her pictures. I waved her over and complimented her as soon as she sat down. We hit it off right away, chatting and laughing. I really liked her voice, her smile, her quirky personality. I thought maybe this could turn into something more. Everything was going perfectly until Lily said she had to use the restroom. No problem, I figured she'd be back in a few minutes. But 10 minutes went by and she still wasn't back. I started wondering if she was okay. Just then, my phone dinged with a text notification from her. I picked up my phone expecting her to say she was on her way back. Instead, the text read,
Hey, sorry for the delay. I have a bad case of diarrhea. Be back soon.
I stared at my phone in disbelief. Diarrhea? On our first date? I had no idea how to even respond to that. Before I could think of something to text back, she sent another message saying she had meant to send that to her friend Amy. I sat there dumbfounded. Was this some kind of joke? I felt my excitement turning into disappointment and frustration. Then Lily actually called me, and I just couldn't deal with speaking to her right then. I rejected the call and sat there fuming. I decided I had to get out of there before she returned. The server came by and I asked him to box up my food for takeout. As I paid the check, I replayed the night's events in my head. I had really been looking forward to this date with Lily. Everything was so perfect, up until disaster struck from her end. I left the restaurant and drove home, eating my pasta sadly in front of the TV. Her text kept buzzing my phone, which I tried ignoring. Maybe she was nice, but clearly this just wasn't meant to be if our first date involved her diarrhea dilemma. I knew I probably wouldn't ever see or speak to Lily again after her date with Disaster.
I seriously want to know what your reaction would be if you're on a first date and your date told you that they had a not being able to control their bowels situation going on. I pretty much know how the situation would play out if a man said this to a woman. If you flip the genders like in the story you just listened to, how would you, the man, respond? And if you're into intergender, transgender, or non-binary dating/relationships, how would you respond? Sound off in the comments. Also show your appreciation of this story and episode by hitting that like and subscribe button. Also go to justtextclothing.com to copy one or more. Life is so short, but it seems so long when you have to use the bathroom tee. It's only $25. Okay, that's it for me for now. See you in the future.